Yeah, CBC isn't bad. I don't know. We talked a little bit how people say the news depresses them on a previous podcast. And I went into great detail about that.
I meant to tell you, after that episode, last week's.
Yes.
I asked Melissa the same question
that
we asked.
I would like to be curious.
I had said, because she's one that gets kind of socially anxious and whatnot, and she's been following Niagara 411 even more than I am, because she'll wake up at weird hours, so she'll say, hey, don't go outside today, it's really cold. Like, okay, I'm going to go outside. Went to the gym.
Yeah.
Doing very well.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I said, do you think that it's a good thing? And she says, absolutely. I'm more aware of everything that's going on, the good and the bad. And I think that that's the thing.
You didn't really beg the question of like, hey, does news make you feel terrible?
I worded it basically like that. And she's like, no, at least no more than usual. And that's most people.
Fair enough. That's good to know. On that note, I like to listen to the CBC, but even myself, I'll sometimes get just sick of hearing about the world. I don't know if it's necessarily because it makes me feel the wrong way. It numbs the mind to do it on a continual basis. Which I can run CBC for like maybe at most an hour of a drive for like maybe 2 times a week. It's usually what I do. I don't really listen to it if there's other people in the car.
Yeah, that's
about it. But if it's myself, I will. That and the American station, WBFO, NPR station.
Okay.
Which is quite good.
Yeah, between that, it's been a lot of podcasts. And it's all Joe Rogan. I feel like I'm best friends.
I wish there was a way. Well, I mean there is. I drive an older truck, so I need to modify said truck in order to listen to anything from my phone in it. And that just sounds like it's not really... no, well, okay. So here...
Free of charge.
I can talk about a product I don't like.
I hate those.
I don't like the FM transmitters that you plug into your phone. They are
But that also has a USB charger as well.
Well, slightly convenient. I mean, I already have one of those. You know what? I will give it a shot, because then at least I can listen to podcasts.
Yeah. Let me know how it is.
There's 2 problems. One, never listen to music on it. It is garbage. It is not worth a damn. Don't bother. You think in theory, okay, audio quality on a podcast doesn't need to be that great. That's fine. So then you go to try one of these perhaps. Then you realize it's too fucking quiet. Maybe it's not, I'm not going to have the same problem because I have a different phone, maybe it's a better amp in it, I don't really know. But it was so quiet the last time I tried to listen to audiobooks in my car off of my phone, I gave up and I just threw it out. I don't like the FM transmitters.
I don't either. I got it at Christmas at the, well, it ended up being my last day, but did a gift exchange at Beatty's.
Mm-hmm.
And I got one gift that I was happy with, and then Monica gave me that. She's like, my car is too good.
Too good?
Her car is jacked.
Yeah.
So,
ability.
Like, you insinuating that mine is shit. I have an aux cable at least.
True.
But I have no need for it.
No, I will give it a shot, and I hope it's usable, which is the most I could hope for, really.
Even as a temp fix, it's been sitting in a box for 4 weeks, so
yeah,
you might as well get some use out of it.
That's fair enough. The owning this truck has been a bit of a headache, a little bit, just because it's something that's been more worn in than any other vehicle I've ever purchased, and I knew that going in and spent a terrible amount on it, but I am going to be spending a lot on it to keep it going. It's, I mean, people have their brand alliances and such. It's a Ford truck. It's got over 300,000 kilometers on it, which for the engines you can push them quite a bit further than that, but it's definitely, I just got a bunch of check engine lights, I got to change like coils, and it's having misfires and and then I've had a whole host of things to go with the radiator, so it's like not getting heat inside, because
which is great this time of year.
Yeah, when it's like negative 22 in the Niagara region, let alone anywhere else in Ontario.
How cold was it up north?
Well, negative 25 was the coldest when I was outside, although it got to like negative 29 overnight. And that, yeah, the cold is exasperating the problems I'm having with this truck. So anyways.
Your truck is turning into a slush machine.
Yeah, the coolant, since we flushed the system, which by the way, I decided that the heater core was plugged, which is the thing that a fan blows on to get heat into your vehicle basically. I decided that was the cause, and we flushed the system, and the heater worked better than it ever had. It was great. It was fantastic.
Good.
But in doing so, we replaced all the fluids. It was brand new coolant, which you mix 1-to-1 with water. It's diluted a little bit. I'm sure in the southern states you could have more water because it doesn't freeze down there. But that's what you do 1-to-1 to keep it like -40 freeze proof. And something went wrong because just this weekend it was turning to slush inside of like the reservoir. You could see that it was all frozen. So there's something weird about that.
Too much water?
It doesn't make sense. Not in the mixture. There's something else going on where somehow the coolant itself is being lost, or like it's just getting diluted or something. So we mixed it properly. I know for a fact that it was properly mixed. So there's something more to it. But that's not the biggest problem. The problem I'm worried about is the engine stuff. I'll take being cold on car rides for a bit because
you can wear a jacket
yeah,
and
you can wear a
gloves
jacket
and all that.
I need the engine to
Acclimatize.
work. Yeah.
So, is the check engine light just firing at random, or did it just start while you took your journey? Like, what was
interesting thing is I had the truck fully loaded in a sense. I didn't have a trailer on it, but I had the back loaded with a washer and dryer, a tire. I got a what do you call it? Power washer, like for the gas powered one's a big engine. So it was pretty loaded in the back. It had a good amount of weight.
Driving down the highway in a snowstorm.
Driving
winter tire.
No, I have nice all season tires in the back now. This is coming home. Whatever.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going up the Burlington Skyway. And I'm going up and I gotta give it some more gas to climb up the hill. And when I do that, the check engine light it flashes on and off. Which I looked up later, it says pull over and tow immediately in the owner's manual or something. It's different than the engine light staying on. But it went away very quickly. It went away like within seconds of it coming
I
on.
hate check engine lights.
Yeah, me too. Well, they're useful, but they're anxiety causing. But anyway,
Yes.
I was like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just going to go home, and if the truck breaks down, CAA is going to tow me. It's going to be fine. So, went home, I didn't check it right away. Usually I check my codes, but it was very late at night, and I had to do stuff. So, yeah. So on the way to your place, then the check engine light came on and stayed on. So I did check my codes. And that's when I got the misfire and all that. The check engine light is good. I'm glad that vehicles have them. Although I guess it's the catch-22 of adding all of the electronics to sense all the things wrong with the vehicle means you have sensitive electronics that can also go wrong and cause other problems with your vehicle. So yeah, there's some simplicity to not having check engine lights. But
are the newer cars, like, I mean, the ones that are more computerized, basically any new model, do they have check engine lights, or are they able to diagnose the problem kind of right away?
They still kind of have check engine lights. Here, there's a bit of a rift, and some manufacturers are like this. There will be check engine lights for like certain basic, and I say basic as in like it could be serious engine problems too, but check engine lights that you can just diagnose with like a $20, $40 computer where you just plug in, you figure out what's wrong. And those you could address with any mechanic or whatever. And then there's other types of check engine lights that would be a different symbol. In Ford it's a wrench. And that means we have a very expensive computer to take care and figure out what's going on with that and fix the problem in that case. Oh no. That's not recording.
It's nice to see a screw up every once in a while on your end.
I don't know why. Whatever. We got DSLR footage.
And I'm sure it'll sound amazing.
Sound like shit.
Just give it to you.
I don't even know. I don't even want to finish that story now. I'm really annoyed.
Welcome to a funny thing happened on the way to the podcast.
The fuck this edition.
I'm Jesse.
And I'm Eric. We had a really good podcast for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good story. I was intrigued.
Yeah. Well, never mind.
Well, I should mention, like I did before, we are on all platforms, iTunes, Spotify, the Google Play music side of things, Google Play Podcasts.
And somebody pitched the iHeartRadio thing to us, and I said that we should probably become an FM transmitting radio station first and then switch to the internet just to show the sign of the times that FM transmissions could be dying. Which
I gave you an FM transmitter.
Yes, you gave me an FM transmitter. I talked about car troubles.
So theoretically,
You're all caught up now.
Yeah, I'm just saying right now, if we plugged this in, if we plugged that into a out port, and
On our soundboard?
yeah, and people tune into 88.5, we'd be an FM radio station.
Within a vicinity of probably about 40 feet.
Yeah, but still, we'd be an FM radio station.
Yeah, we could transmit an FM signal. Do you know anything about how much it costs to have FM transmitting equipment?
Not at all.
Okay, me neither. I imagine it's quite a lot because they say you can transmit stuff on an AM band much cheaper, although very few people listen to AM radio unless they're very far away and find FM signals inaccessible, because amplitude modulation radio tends to go a longer distance than frequency modulation radio due to reasons of physics, but and it's a lower frequency signal anyway, so it's less. Anyway, something about wavelengths. The bigger the wavelength, further transmission. Just why radio waves are really, really big. If you ever looked at the diagrams in the high school science class. But yeah, no, it'd be really expensive, I'd imagine. But I wonder what it would cost for the most basic setup. Like, and all these radio station, all the radio station gear stuff tends to require like a license.
Yes.
You could be like a ham radio operator, or there's tons of different groups of it, and you don't need a license to broadcast CB like on a CB radio, but there is still rules like that are kept in check by, I think, the FCC or whatever. I don't know, whatever it is in Canada, where you can actually commit a crime by doing certain things on the radio waves. Are you aware of this?
Yes.
It's stupid too, because like, I don't know, if you just yell for a continuous amount of time, you could commit a crime. Or if you just keep your line open, you could be committing a crime. Or if you play music, you'd be committing a crime. If you don't stop and let other people talk, you'd be committing a crime. It's if you swear too much, it's illegal to swear too much on a CB radio, or I think maybe at all, but at least too much.
So the crtc.gc.ca, so
Okay.
that would be our
FCC.
rules. You got to go through so much.
This has got to be riveting to be reading and to
my
possibly
God.
read to the audience. Yes, there's a shitload of stuff.
How to apply for a basic broadcasting license.
I read through some of the rules in what was just my CB radio handbook, and it's a long, long list of things.
Application forms and information packages are available on the broadcasting forum page. Please specify the precise type of services you are proposing. For example, if you want to set up a radio station, is it AM, community, or campus, FM, very low power FM, 10 watts ERP or less, low power FM, 50 watts ERP or less, or a regular high power FM station. But it's not saying anything about cost.
How many watts is a high power FM station? If 10's like a low amount, because
90, 100?
that, in terms of power, that doesn't sound like serious equipment to me. Although I may be wrong. You can, a common outlet in the house will let you run quite a lot of power compared to 10 watts. But I don't know anything about running that kind of radio equipment, so I could very well be wrong.
I don't want a broadcasting form. The startup cost.
To what kind of radio?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
This is stuff that's just...
See, this is after. This is... See, I'm off the CRTC website.
Yeah.
So after you get the license, if you want to do it right, it's like about a $15,000 startup cost, and then for less than $1,000 a month, you can still be on the air. So it's not cheap.
No, that is terribly expensive.
Whereas podcasts are surprisingly affordable.
Yes. It's like the idea of proliferating information shouldn't actually cost money. Because it doesn't really, other than the negligible amounts to run these lights and all that kind of stuff, like the up cost of it doesn't really exist. And some place that's running ads is hosting the content, so it seems to get paid for by itself.
Yeah.
And you can have
And
possibly
even if we
more
didn't have the
viewers.
lights, even if we were just using, we could just be audio. If it was just audio, then
Good.
it'd be even less. But we have the cameras, so there's no reason not to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I like it. It's interesting. We're not exactly making waves on iTunes or Spotify as one would
In
guess.
the first week or two that we have it up. Yeah,
but
not really.
it's interesting. Spotify actually wasn't even fully registered because they sent me an email asking me to confirm our email address, but it went right to the spam folder.
Cool. Good to know your spam filter's working.
It's our spam filter.
Nice. I see you got some DH Media bags
Yeah.
over there. You mind explaining a little bit about those?
Sure. These are bags that I literally cannot give away for free.
Mm-hmm.
These are Stag and Doe gift bags.
Right.
Um,
I know some of what's in there.
yes. So, my Stag and Doe, it was very interesting. I commented on one post on a wedding giveaway page saying that I would donate. Just one comment on a post 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
15 people messaged from the one comment. Like, I didn't have to do anything else. And they messaged me. Some people did the extra digging and messaged DH Media, which I appreciated more.
It's very direct.
Would you like to donate? I'm like, sure. I didn't exactly know what I was giving away. So, in this lovely case, they get a letter on our DH Media letterhead thanking them and saying that we would obviously like you to lay out all the marketing material at your Stag and Doe. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. And then at the end, I also was like, if you don't already have a photographer, videographer, whatever, maybe we can help out. Some of them, because I'm running out of these and I need to get more, get the early stages of the business media flyers, which have the prices for commercial videography and stuff like that on the back.
Lovely.
And all of our names on the front. The gift certificate.
For a couple shoot? What is that?
Out of focus. It is anything. It is a photo shoot. 30-minute free photo shoot with the digital images included.
Lovely.
Yes. And then the old style, because I had them, booklets. Prices are all the same.
Great booklet.
Might as well get rid of them.
Mm-hmm. That's why we're staking them in bags to give away. Yeah. And there's our faces.
Meet the team.
Lovely. Also out of focus. Well, there's more.
There's more.
Photo booths. Cool.
And then the pièce de la résistance. Just a bunch of business cards.
Ton of cards. Nice. And a mix of cards too. Not just your cards or my cards, but all the cards.
Just everybody but Andrew.
Well,
Because I didn't have any of his. So.
what a...
It was my fault because I had them ready on Friday. So I said people could pick them up Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. I wasn't expecting anybody to pick them up on Saturday.
No.
Although somebody said they were going to, and then they just disappeared. And then when I said today, hey, it's still available, even after that snowstorm, she's like, yeah, I forgot to message you that I wasn't coming. I didn't take offense to it. But it's surprising when I give them parameters, because I said I'm available this week, Monday, Tuesday, early Wednesday, because I don't just want to sit at home and be available. And most people are like, oh, well,
Never
you'll have to
mind.
wait.
Okay.
Never mind. That would be more annoying. But it's amazing when people are giving away free things so you can't pull a string to get.
Though there's something magical about trying to even just sell stuff where a lot of people won't want certain things if they're too expensive, of course. They won't want things necessarily that are free, which is a little bit counterintuitive or really cheap.
But you see, this isn't like anybody who wants it. One of the people that picked it up today, I had 10. I now have 7, so 3 people. 1 yesterday and 2 today. And the one person today said, thank you very much. You're one of the higher end prizes so far at our Stag and Doe. But I got thinking, they can't look at it like it's free because they're taking something that has inherent value, right? Like they go and it gets auctioned off even at $150 or $200, which it can.
But I think it's a lot to do with just the people might not look at it that way. It's the believed value like if I just picked up a washer and dryer that I found on the side of the road, because in the place where my parents are, it's a higher end subdivision, and I could easily see somebody getting a new washer and dryer and just tossing ones that work perfectly well to the curb. So I picked them up, and I'm gonna sell them. But here's the thing: I can't sell them, even though I would easily. I think I could do it quickly if you, didn't take this into account. But I can't sell them for $50. Nobody would come pick them up. Nobody has an urgency about a $50 set of washer and dryers. Free, maybe people, I don't know, they might come. I wouldn't get them sold for $200, but if I put them up for $125 or $150, I bet you they're gone in a couple days.
It's true.
It's weird. And there's a lot of people will also say that they're coming for things that are free or cheap, but then they don't show up. If it's something expensive, I've rarely been blown off for anything on Kijiji or Facebook Marketplace.
Well, people are talking like the Mark III that I bought.
Yeah.
That was the first and last time so far that I've been successful on the Facebook Marketplace. I messaged her. I said, "Is this still available?" She said, "Yes." There's been a lot of interest, but I can't get people to say yes to the $900. I'm like, "Why is that?" They're because it was old. They wanted her 17 to 40 lens included in the $900 price. Like, there were people just being jerks.
Wow.
But there are people still interested in it, and when you're messaging something and there's a lot of interest and it's a higher end, I think it's more there's now a feeding frenzy, so it's more natural for you to run over and grab it before anybody else can.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely like that. If I get the hint, and I typically do, that something is priced too good to be true, or it's really just a bit of a steal, I don't really even message asking if it's available. Say, if it's available, I'm buying it ASAP. Send, and then just send that, and that gets people's attention very quickly. It seems to work quite well. Even then, though, I will get the response, "It's already been sold," or whatever, which...
I think people are just really bad at taking posts.
They're not on top of it, but things are fast too. Like, I have sold things and then minutes later gone to check my phone and there's new people asking about it. So you need to be quick about it. Facebook Marketplace is pretty good for letting you take down your ads fast or market it with specific things. I kind of like that. Kijiji, it was always delete the ad. But on Facebook Marketplace, you can just mark it as sold. So it's sort of still there. People can look at it and, it's sold. That thing that I was looking at wasn't a figment of my imagination. It was there, and it sold.
I was going to say, it's interesting with niche products, but then again, I asked you and Tila probably about 2 months ago about a dolly system that came with track, and it was an actual proper dolly system.
Yes.
And I was going to call it niche, but it's a videography company or videographer selling it to Facebook, and he has a bunch of videographer friends, so I'm guessing it's not as niche as I thought in that case. But yeah, within 20 minutes it was gone. And that was sad.
Lots of people know what they're looking for, so they keep an eye out, and if it comes up, they have to grab it quite quickly.
I like dollies. Sounded weird. I like camera dollies.
They're a useful thing to have. Although, it'd be cool to have some kind of motorized setup, because we could use it in stuff like this show, but also other stuff. Just something that's constantly moving back and forth to get some kind of life to your shots.
Yes.
Changes things quite a bit.
I've looked into them because people joke that they are the second shooter killer, because you can put them up in the back of the church or whatever, and theoretically you could run the majority of an interview on that as a second shooter, getting like a different shot of the person.
Yeah.
So yes, I can see that in certain situations, but the whole point of having a second shooter is so you're not
repeating the same motion over and over again.
Or you're not just steady in one shot,
Yeah.
So it gets the point across, but only in a limited fashion. If it was a backup, sure. Like if I had it running on the backup camera in the church and still had Justin and everything, yeah, it'd probably be really cool. Is it worth the price tag? Not right now.
It can't be that. This is another thing that I feel like I could just make. Making a track or something, not quite a dolly, But just something for a camera to move back and forth on couldn't be that hard. I don't know. It's just a bunch. You could make the gears out of wood for all I know, and then you just really cheap motor to move it. It seems like something that could be
Just needs to be so
made.
smooth.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I think just making it look professional is the
Well,
difficulty.
for this, it doesn't.
For this, it doesn't matter. Well, it has to be not too bulky to be a hassle to set up.
Or loud.
Or
Some
loud.
of them, the cheaper
will have a
ones,
bit of
people are
noise.
like, they're great, but they're loud.
Yes.
So,
Common trend in camera equipment. Old lenses used to be super loud at focusing and things like that.
old cameras never used to do both photo and video, though.
No, but it was still distracting. I mean, being a wedding photographer, you wouldn't want necessarily everybody looking at you just because your camera's squealing obnoxiously. Pretty common issue.
Finished my frequently asked questions today.
Nice. And by that, you mean you've written them all out.
Yes.
So that's something I'll have to look at. So this has been a long time in the making, but for DH Media, we're doing just a frequently
Video
asked,
series of frequently asked questions.
which apparently was hot enough last time that some people just watched through all of them for
That
some
was
reason.
such a weird thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good. That's why they were there. I
Yeah.
think even if one couple did it, it served its purpose. They walk into Tim Hortons, they already know us. It's like, hey, it's me, because our photos are on the website. But then they kind of know us already.
Mm-hmm. It helps getting comfortable with everybody.
So these will be good. They're funny. You get to talk. Andrew gets to talk. Justin gets to talk. Tila gets to talk because she loves her voice on camera.
She loves it, yeah.
So
Give her a pair of monitoring headphones while she does it so she
Yeah.
can love her voice even more.
I have a question about that. We're on a audio and video podcast. One thing that I am not super amazing at is creative audio editing. I'm okay at basic mixing and whatnot, and
You talk about like sound effects?
not sound effects. Just say we were to shoot it at Mugs and Meeples. Mugs and Meeples has a very loud heater in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Can you minimize that?
Yeah. It's work. You got to be canceling it when it's on and not canceling it when it's off. But yes, you could minimize it.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
best, it's kind of like video and photo where the best way to do it is in camera. If you get it right on the spot, and it helps you a heck of a lot later.
Yes.
But you can do a lot after the fact if you need to as well. Like, I mean, if you could just shut off the heater for a bit,
I suppose we could do that
it'd be
because
the preferable option.
that space, outside of the fact that it's echoey,
It's a good studio-ish space.
and we can use it, and I think that's the biggest space we have to shoot the frequently asked questions.
What other creative audio stuff are you thinking about?
Well, that was just the main thing because it always seems to be running.
It's very ineffectual business meeting style.
Yes, Tila, if you're listening, message us.
I'm going to switch things radically because I keep looking at them. You got a set of containers near your sink,
Yes.
and they got things on them. And some of them make sense. Some say veggies, some say fruits. That's good. But then some say proteins and carbs.
Yes.
What is going in those? They're like weirdly, very small containers.
Yes. So,
Dressings.
without doing any research myself,
Okay.
okay, this is all based on Melissa, and she has a workout that she's doing that involves eating and portion control. Those are my portion control containers.
So if you're eating a thing that falls on a category, you use that to volume it.
That's where it falls apart real quickly.
'Cause you don't
I
know how
had
to do
tomato
it.
soup the other day, and I'm like, I have no idea what the hell this is. Like, it's sodium reduced tomato soup, so it has to be partly vegetable. It wasn't that bad, but I just didn't know what it was. It was bland as shit. The soup needed salt, but I put salted crackers in it, so
Can I pitch dietary advice to you?
sure.
Okay. So, in the general life of most people, I don't really recommend counting calories or breaking things down that much. But if you are trying to figure out where calories are going, maybe it's a good thing just to do for a temporary time, not necessarily to make like specific adjustments, but just say, okay, if I count calories for a week and count things like, each of these different nutrients and you build them up, maybe you do that for a week to figure out if you're eating too much of something. For you, since you're trying to lose weight, that's your primary goal. The only thing that matters is calorie intake. That's it. You don't have to cut it down that much, but if eating a certain amount has gotten you to where you currently are, then you should eat slightly less.
Well, that's
Pretty
what I'm
logical.
doing.
Or work out quite a bit more. But it's a lot easier to eat less and see results than it is to work harder and see the same results. Or doing both is kind of the best combination.
What I'm doing is I'm mixing her way, because hers, I'll grab the sheet.
Okay, you got a sheet too.
I have a sheet.
I will wait for you
This
to get
is
back with the
where
sheet.
I'm stupid.
This is where Jesse is stupid.
Yes. Because I'm not the healthiest person, but I'm not the unhealthiest either.
Not the most interested in talking into the microphone either.
I'm not the healthiest person, but I'm not the unhealthiest either. These containers are carbs.
Yeah, you got a carbs one. It's got something, a little one inside of it.
It's like a Bushka doll.
Russian doll.
Healthy fats.
Which, no,
I'll
talk
go
about
through
the
the
difference
list.
between them, but yeah. Ooh, okay.
Oils and nut butters.
Those are two drastically different things in my opinion,
I
but
thought
sure.
so. Proteins.
Yeah. There's a little one inside of it.
Seeds and dressings. Salad dressings. But that in itself, we had a discussion about, because she uses vinaigrettes. I don't. I like a good ranch dressing.
Which has more fats involved.
Right, and it's not the same. I think that's right. And then, of course, the big two
Fruits and
veggies. Now, right off the bat, I have not been following this plan the
No.
way I should be, assuming that this plan is right for me. I'm just gonna for
Sure.
visual.
Because you're not eating as much, you're not filling up the fruits and veggies ones.
No, I am.
You are? Okay.
Okay, so since I started doing this, last time I had fast food was with you on the way to Toronto.
A&W is good food.
It's probably as good as fast food can be.
Yes.
I think, personally.
It's great.
So I've cut down my fast food a lot. I realize I'm drinking pop today, but I've cut down all pop intake a lot, replacing it with water, sometimes juices. I know juices aren't the greatest as far as sugar goes, but a lot of it is water. And it's so I've been doing that. In the place of everything, I have been going to the gym more. Not
Better, yeah.
3 times last week, 3 times this week, maybe 4 this week. I have no reason not to.
Fair enough.
Right? And during that time, I'm not just doing cardio now. Justin has me on a...
Although cardio kind of is probably the focus you should have.
No, I know that. But it's... I feel good. I feel
That's
like
good.
I've been to the gym,
That's good.
which when I started without going with Justin, I'd go and I'd run for 40 minutes and I'd leave and I wouldn't feel like I've been to the gym. It
40-minute
sounds weird.
run's a pretty good run if you...
Yeah, but I'm not
You're probably doing
running.
intervals or something.
It's probably fat person running. I don't know.
Okay.
But I was still going. Now it's a mix of machines and cardio. But now I feel like my arms are sore, which
Yep.
is nice.
That'll do that to you.
But we'll get back to this. My food intake: chicken, a lot of it, lots of spinach, lots of berries, lots of bananas, apples, and oranges, which are right in
Good.
front of us.
Nice.
They're all good. This plan, I'm supposed to get... I wonder if I got it all into... I didn't quite, but that's okay. 6 of these containers a day of veggies, which I can do, no problem.
Okay.
A lot of it is spinach and carrots in pasta, in rotational pasta. 4 containers of fruit, not hard.
No. Proteins, is that for meat, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay.
Which I argue that peanut butter is high in protein, but nope.
It is.
Protein is meat.
Yeah, okay.
6 of these, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, that's a lot of cut up chicken. As
bit.
far as proteins go, it's not a lot of eggs. Anyways,
I wouldn't want to eat... Okay, whatever. Yeah, that'd be a lot of eggs.
It's a lot of eggs. 4 containers of carbs. One and 6.
6 of the oils and nut butters. Okay. Well, I guess it might be good to get into a habit. Although, so here's the thing that I would pitch a little bit. If you are eating a lot of veggies and fruits, there's pretty much no amount that you could overconsume of them, just because they're not terribly calorically dense foods. They're large volume-wise.
I'm full. A
Yeah,
lot more,
compared
which
to
is
how
nice.
many calories you have in them. So you could eat 10 bananas in a smoothie, a ridiculous amount of bananas, but it's not so calorically dense. Like, you're going to be full so long that you're
And
not
I'm
going to
never
want to
gonna
fill
be
up
able to
again.
poop.
It's not the effect I get from bananas, but
Really?
Yeah.
Bananas are not good for that.
There's no fiber in them, yeah. But a lack of, well, yeah. I guess if you only eat bananas, you might have a problem.
So what I'm just trying. It's baby steps. I'm doing better.
Would say seeds. If you wanted to eat seeds for something like hemp seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, whatever, not much reason to restrict those, because it seems like it's strange that they're in the same category as dressings. I don't know. Not really sure why, but anyways, seeds are good for you in general. If you're eating things that are pretty much entirely good for you, it's really difficult to overeat because you're volumetrically consuming so much, which is probably the benefit too of having a higher carb diet than having like protein or fats dominate things, because then you're not really eating meat, which is super calorically dense, and you could easily overfill on that. Of course, you can still eat a small amount of meat, but if it's mostly carbs, you're going to be full throughout the day.
I haven't had supper yet because I've just been full. There's so many. I don't know who to trust. There are people like, oh,
Dietary advice is so divided, like everywhere on the internet. And everything.
there's the intermittent fasting. You have to eat the 3 meals, but and other people are like, you can't force yourself to eat. If I'm not hungry,
you can force yourself to eat. It's just not.
should I?
It's not pleasant, no. I think if you are watching, like if you're not over consuming, you can eat as many times a day as you like. It's probably better to eat more times than to eat less time.
Yeah, I'll have a light supper.
Yeah, but then eat later on at the night or more beforehand. That doesn't seem unreasonable. That's always how I've done. I have never really strict, this is dinner time, lunchtime. No, I just eat whenever the heck I can or want to, for the most part. Not ridiculous portions necessarily the whole time, and it's not like unhealthy stuff. Like, I'm not just going to be like, oh, I'm hungry, I'm going to go make a plate of nachos and just load it with cheese or something.
I've never done that.
No, I used to a lot as a kid.
Well, when I was a kid, yeah, but I'm talking like in recent years.
No.
Special occasions.
Cheese is expensive. I don't
Yes.
buy that stuff.
Special occasions are like a night with like just a bottle of whiskey and a few people. Yeah, nachos or pizza or whatever. But I'm not. I'm doing better. I said this last year when I started getting into spinach, that I eat more spinach now than ever. But now it's more carrots. It's I'm on the right path, and with the workouts and everything, I'm feeling better.
There's a lot. You can also, the funny thing is, you can also have a terrible diet but not be like overweight or have any other external symptoms. So a lot of people might think, oh, this diet works for me and it's great, but meanwhile they might have some kind of issue. Like, for instance, you could eat, I don't know, 6 eggs every morning and be in great shape and be an Olympic athlete, but you might have like a ton of cholesterol. You might have arterial plaque and other issues, or you might be more likely you're deficient in certain other things. Like, you could look very healthy but have like a B12 deficiency or something else. So it's complicated. There's a million different opinions about what you should and shouldn't do.
One has to assume that you lower or manage the caloric intake, like you said.
For weight loss,
Yep.
that's the only, and it has to be a permanent solution. There's no diet. A diet does not exist. It is.
That's what Melissa said countless times, and I'm not looking at it like I'm dieting. I'm
No.
still eating
eat an amount that you can do for the rest of your life, because you're not gonna. It's worse to rebound. It's harder. You're gonna gain more weight, and it's gonna be a bigger problem if you made I'm gonna do this for a certain amount of months, and then it's over. No, it's never over. Keep it up.
But we'll see. There have been no physical changes, but I can't expect that after a week and a half. But
no, it's going to take longer than that.
I feel good.
Are you
probably like just mental.
Are you keeping up with, like, are you tracking your weight or anything?
Tracking like my weight?
Yeah. It's easy. And that's something that's pretty easy to plot on a graph, and it's good to sort of a litmus test of exactly when you're losing weight and what you're doing right. It's not a bad idea. I haven't been to I've been to the gym once in like recent times, and it's interesting, at least to me, what shape I'm in, because before I started working in construction and framing houses, I went to the gym regularly for probably about half a year, like 3 to 5 days a week. I would go a lot, and I was very good
Brock's gym.
Yeah, Brock's gym, and even other ones too. But I was very good at the activities there, like the stuff like leg press and calf raises and all sorts of activities like that. And I could hit these good numbers of reps and the amount of weight that I could carry and all that. And then I started framing, and I didn't have time to work out at the gym anymore because I wasn't a student. I was just working full time. And going back, even though I work my body every single day and do things that I find more physically strenuous and I had to practice and get good at, like carrying certain kinds of lumber, sheeting, just climbing up and down ladders with certain things, like certain amounts of weight, and standing in awkward positions on roofs, like with a slant, because your legs are working differently when you're doing that. Going back to the gym, I'm definitely not in as bad shape as I could have been had I not been active for the past 2 years, but you lose it. You definitely lose it.
Well, it's repetition.
It
right?
is. But the leg press is probably the most obvious one, because I was really proud of myself. I could max out the machine at Brock. That's 400 pounds, and I could do a decent amount of reps. That was really hard to build up to, and probably not good for my legs. I think lots of people would argue, because there's probably joint problems and stuff.
I
but
can't do 400 pounds.
I could do it. I almost passed out the first time I actually got a decent amount of reps in. But
the first time I went to the gym this year, I didn't feel good coming off the treadmill.
no.
I pushed myself because I thought I was fine, because when I
yourself.
need to, I can run.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was fine. I was listening to music, and then the next thing I knew, I'm like, chest doesn't feel too good.
Yeah.
Kind of dizzy.
Yep.
I'm gonna stop.
You get lightheaded. I didn't push it too hard, but recently when I went to the gym, that leg press, I did 300 pounds right off the bat just to see if I could do it. I could. And I was like, I don't know if I could do much more than this, though. And I tried for just a little bit more. Nope. I couldn't lift off, get a single rep. So I lost it. So yeah, it goes away pretty quickly. I mean, 2 years isn't really quick, but I bet if I stopped working out entirely, I'd lose a lot within just a week or two. It's a constant thing you have to be at.
I don't know. It's all new to me. It's interesting. It's not new to me, but having the containers at the very least is a visual representation of a potential serving, I suppose. Like the veggies, that's not a ton of spinach. The fact that I have to do 6
Well, I
of
mean,
it,
it's mostly air if you're just dumping in fresh spinach.
and I don't know what the rules are there.
Yeah, I don't know either. That doesn't really make much sense. If you squish it down and you packed it, that'd be a lot of spinach.
Yeah.
That'd be more than you want to eat in a day in just one of those containers, I think.
So it's at least making me mindful, and I think that that's good enough. I think.
Where did you get the containers?
Melissa got them online.
Okay. They look like nothing I've ever seen in like a Walmart or anything.
They're like, I get it.
Ooh.
But then what I don't get is she's on a different, because she weighs less than me, so she has to, based on this plan, she has to eat less. So is that, I don't bother researching it because I can't tell what's factually sound.
Are you talking about the difference between men and women, or just like...
Lower weight category. I don't think it's sexist.
Not really. I mean, if you're trying to lose weight, you should pick a number that is below the calories you're Like basically, you want to burn off everything you consume in a day and a little bit more, so you
That's
tap
hard
into
to
your
do.
resources. It is, but that doesn't really mean that like you should. You could probably eat the amount that she did, and you would lose weight more rapidly. Although it might not be an ideal amount. I don't know how much she eats, but yeah, it is hard to do. The cardio is probably the biggest factor in like burning fat, just because you need to just do it for like an hour at least, and if you push it past that, that's golden. You're burning like just body fat at that point pretty much. If you deplete all your glycogen stores and all that in your body, all the readily available sugars, yeah, it's hard as hell to push that far, but that's when you're tapping into that. And if you go longer, that's when you're going to see the biggest difference for just burning fats, assuming that you're not overeating every day, because then you're just putting it right back on, so you're not helping yourself very much.
I'm gonna have to try different things, see what works.
When I mentioned Walmart about those pieces of Tupperware, I made me think of a story I could tell them this morning about, okay, so this morning for work, I guess nobody really wanted to work, so it was like -18 or whatever.
It was not pleasant.
Which, whatever, that's okay, and maybe we would have worked if there wasn't a ton of snow in the house. It was just filled with, like, the roof wasn't on yet, and then the second floor of the house was just covered in snow, which we had to shovel out. So just myself and my housemate that I work with, we went to, we were going to go to work, because we're like, well, we want to work, even if the boss doesn't really want to today, and we can shovel it out. Except we have like a sea can, where all of our equipment is stored in, and the shovels were locked in this. The boss said, okay, go out and buy new shovels at Walmart. So I'm like, okay. And go to Walmart, 7 in the morning, just at opening. Man, it's strange to walk into the place when it's totally empty. Because even if you go there when at closing time at night, still people are frantically running around. You can't really catch a break during the day. But 7 in the morning, empty. So try to run around and find these. We're looking for shovels. And there's like a seasonal department that has like 2 types of shovels, and there's like another part of the store that has like a different set of types of
You'd
shovels.
think after a snowstorm and you say we're looking for shovels, they would point you in the right direction.
And the ones that are at the front of the store, like the cheapest, flimsiest, crappiest ones. It was stupid. The funny thing is, I find a shovel that's nicer than any of the other shovels they have. And I like it. And it's not in a display. It's just sitting on top of a skid with some other stuff that has nothing to do with shoveling snow. And I'm like, I grab it and I'm like, this is going to be weird. So we pick that, and there's not another one of them. There's just some other shovels. We buy like a shovel that was in the stand. We get to the checkout, and just as I thought, the lady goes to like scan it. She's like, barcode won't read. I was like, okay. Goes to type in the number. She's like, I don't think I got it right. It didn't come up. I can't read one of the numbers or whatever. And it was it took probably 20 minutes to resolve. We got the store manager involved to try to figure out what was going on with the shovel, where it was. And then eventually they just threw a price at me. They said $21, whatever, we'll sell it to you. And then I walked out there feeling very satisfied, because I believe I got them to sell me a shovel that didn't belong to their store. It was in a part of the store near a bay door that I think an employee could have just left it there. And it was from maybe a different store or something.
So you were feeling satisfied, or
It
do you
was
think
hilarious.
they were feeling satisfied because they may have just sold?
It was a good shovel. It was better than the shovels
Was
they
it
had.
brand new?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looked very new. New enough that it could have been on the rack. But I don't think they sold it. And I just thought it was hilarious, because from the moment I picked it up, I was like,
This is going to cause problems.
yeah. And it was so good. I'm just hoping that there was some employee who went out and got this shovel from a store that sold better shovels, like the Canadian Tire next door that wasn't open yet. And I bought a Canadian Tire shovel at Walmart for $21.
Probably got a good deal on
Probably
it, too.
did. Had a nice metal lip to it and a nice little hand grab, all sorts of little
Talking
features.
about snow shoveling, I was thinking about this as I was taking out my car. My grandmother at one point caught a thief in Tilsonburg by accident.
Okay.
It was snowing. She was older.
Somebody threw a body in the snowbank?
No.
Okay.
She was probably early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fair guess. Mid 70s. Snowing really hard. Somebody comes up to the door, says, "We're shoveling snow. Did you want us to shovel your driveway?" She's like, sure. And she's like, I'll just open the garage door for you.
Uh-oh.
So you can just shovel it. It's whatever. So like, okay, it's fine. So they shovel, and then they leave. She pays them and whatnot, and then she goes out to do her patio. She's like, where's my shovel?
Well, it's not the crime I'm thinking is that bad, but I hope
Hold
it
on.
gets better. I hope
It does. So this mid-70-year-old woman drives up the street to where they're shoveling,
Yeah.
using her shovel.
Yeah.
She never questioned where
They got a shovel from.
they got the shovels when she was shoveling her driveway. And I guess she didn't really catch them. And she made a fuss. They gave her shovels back. And then she went home and found out later that they had pulled the same stunt on somebody else down the street, but they had also taken like actual garage equipment.
I was gonna say, stealing shovels is a pretty lame crime.
Well, she followed them, and it was them. They were caught, so I guess she didn't really catch them, but she could have, I suppose, had she whacked them with a shovel, she could have avoided a crime.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good game. I mean, I don't know why would the garage have to be opened in the first place? Just like shovel from the garage outward.
I don't know.
I would say fuck you. I'm not opening my garage.
Eh,
That immediately sets off flags if they're asking for that.
early 2000s, late 90s in Tilsonburg. It was a clean-cut community. So, I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds like something kids would try to do.
Yeah. So,
Lift some stuff from a garage. I've got an update about my truck troubles.
pardon?
I've got an update about my truck troubles. My dad drew me a diagram showing.
It's awesome, except nobody knows about your truck troubles.
Well, they do. You can, if the audio's good, they can hear it. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, I got a coil number 3 that needs further diagnosis. Apparently,
So is that good or bad?
check the connection. Be careful not to get pissed with the harness connector. Oh, he's telling me this is going to be a pain. Okay. Well, I'm ready to work on a truck and be frustrated. That's okay. Not tonight.
It sounds fun, but not really.
No, not in this cold. But looking at houses again. I've just purchased one like a couple months ago, but probably might make an offer on a house soon. At least a type of house, because we've seen one that sort of fits a description of what we're looking for.
What are you looking for?
Double lot, most importantly. And then if it's especially if it's zoned, so that way it could be split, or you can do something. You can do a lot with the land. Just zones, that way you can do what you want. This house is $180,000. The one that we found. It's in Fort Erie, and it's a fixer-upper. It's bad. You need to gut the whole thing, in my opinion. But the double lot's interesting.
You gonna move to Fort Erie?
Not, maybe, I guess. I don't know. It's just more the type of the lot that we're looking for. It's the ideal. It doesn't really matter as much where it is to me, but it works because I sort of have this dream of building like I think, talking to my dad about it, 30 by 30 garage, heated garage, with above it and like an apartment where you have one door that comes from the garage, one door that's off the outside, so it's like a legal unit. I don't really know much about how you could rent that out or if you could Airbnb it, but anyways, 30 by 30, which gives you 900 square feet in both the garage and whatever's above it. And you can fit a kitchen, a bedroom, a bathroom, and maybe even like a living area in it, in that amount of space. It's a good amount of space. But that's kind of the dream now, having a heated space like that. I can't imagine life without a garage. I guess you have storage space in this building, but you have nowhere to put like your car. So there's probably no temptation on your part to ever work on anything about it.
No,
Like even just changing a tire or something would be a pain in the ass in a parking lot.
Yes, it would be. I've thought about the logistics of stuff like that or an oil change, and it just seems too.
You're not going to save much money on the oil changes doing it yourself. Some money, but there's other stuff that just having the space to do it saves you so much money. And yes, it would cost a lot of money to build said garage, but you'd hope you get your returns back on that eventually. I couldn't stand. I guess a lot of the bigger buildings have indoor garages, so at least they're kind of protected
But that's
from
not
the
your own
elements.
space, though.
No, it's not. But at least your car isn't going to be constantly covered in snow and salt. You could conceivably keep it clean inside, which would be nice.
Yes.
That's
it
just
would be.
how most people seem to live. I don't know. The streets here around here too, people like the plows have been going by to clean stuff out, and people haven't moved their cars for at least a week.
I know that.
Those things are buried. Like,
Yes.
I feel sorry for those people when they have to dig their car out. Like, what if they got to go somewhere in a hurry? They're
Not
screwed.
going anywhere in a hurry.
Yep. So many people just live in a situation like that. I don't know how they deal with it. It sounds terrible. I guess part of the problem is just owning a car, but it's not like a mandatory thing necessarily. At least not to own more than one.
If I could have a garage, and one day I will, it will definitely be better than being in this parking lot. Not that it's particularly bad, but it is annoying.
You do get the first space, which is kind of cool.
Yes. Although the space in this building isn't too bad for storage once you utilize it properly. I don't know. That's good. The house thing.
I feel like we're talking about a lot of boring stuff. I feel like we're talking about a lot of boring stuff. Got to throw something in the mix to switch it up. There's not a lot that's exciting this week, I don't think.
No, not a lot happened. I'll be honest. I'll be honest, but first let's talk. Bert Kreischer was hilarious.
Yeah, I guess we have that to talk about
Yes,
still.
I'll make a note of being honest after.
Okay.
So,
Bert Kreischer, yeah, great show.
and I saw on his Instagram stories that he went to that bar.
Oh yeah,
And that would have been insane.
yeah.
He was there.
What time was he there? Probably like midnight.
I couldn't tell because he was just posting stories. And then the second day of his show, he still went and he did an Instagram stories. He was leaving and he chugged a beer, yelled at everybody, and it was packed. And he was yelling, thank you, finished his beer, ran out on the bus, and they left. And they went to Ottawa, and then they left Ottawa to go to Indianapolis, I think, in the snowstorm that we had.
Wow, yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be a heck of a trip.
But they left Ottawa after his party at a bar close by, and then they just drove to Indianapolis.
Do you think he went to that? He went to the bar that very night.
Oh yeah,
So did he go back to the bar at other nights? You
we
think?
went to that very bar by the theater the Wednesday night and the Thursday night
Okay.
after his two shows.
Both. Okay.
And then I'm assuming they know what cutoff time he has to have. And then he
Yeah.
left and he drove to Ottawa. Although theoretically the drive's not that far, so he could have stayed till the end anyways. But
Could have been hammered on the bus.
he was well liquored in the videos.
That would be so good.
Yes.
Dramatic change from that to the next night. We went to the amateur night in St.
It was
Catharines.
interesting. Some of them were
Showtime.
good. Some of them were a little rough. Not rough in the sense that, the
Well-
jokes need polishing.
Yeah. There was one comic who had never, I mean, you can call him a comic, but it was his first time up in front of a crowd. And, it shows you, whatever. Good for him for getting up. Definitely needs some work.
Was it the
The guy with the leg or
With the cane.
with the knee. Yeah, he's fine. I hope, hopefully see him again and hopefully he's doing
it
what he's
takes,
doing.
as we've said, if we're going to do it, it takes balls to
It
go
does.
up and do it.
Yeah, and funny enough, it's a little bit intimidating because most of the acts were quite good. At least even the people that didn't have the greatest jokes were just funny personalities. I thought it was interesting. They were well suited to it.
Progressively got better.
Yeah, I mean, keep the headliner for last too.
The Indian gentleman, he was good. He opened up surprising. It wasn't a real politically dark joke, but just for him to be like, whenever I meet you, you have to go like this, and then you gotta go bang, because that's what my people like, or whatever.
He got a little more edgy as it went on, and it's funny because the things that he said weren't that extreme. It's just that he didn't have the comedy prowess to just give you something that's shocking but keep going. Like it sort of hits the whole audience weird, and then it's weird because it's not sold the right way.
Had he did his 7 minutes, just his 7 minutes, it would have been better. He went past, and his big close with the, like, he tried to be edgy because he continuously talked about assault and whatnot, which is kind of edgy.
Yeah.
I'm not kind of edgy.
And in a very casual way, too.
Yes.
But, like, as if he didn't know he was being edgy.
He knew.
Yeah.
But at the end of the show, his final joke was like, men, and I think we've talked about this too, like, men are not the same. You could have 12 women wanting to sexually assault me, and you'd be on your knees, be like, thank you, Jesus. And that was his ending bit.
Yeah.
And it ended, I'm like, because he already said how it's different, so I don't understand how your punchline is anything different from your setup.
No. So
he should have ended when his 7 minutes
were
were
up. He started a new joke when he was told to get off the stage.
Yes.
That happens.
But no, it was good. The crowd wasn't huge, but
God,
it also wasn't. It was more full than when we got there.
Yeah, there was a good 25, 30 people watching that show.
How many more do you... I mean, we talked about...
Theoretically, even if you're a good comedian, it's hard to build something with the room if the room isn't packed.
That's true.
It doesn't really matter how big the room is, just gotta be packed. Like a room like that, fits, if it's full, maybe like 120 people, something like that. And you can get a crowd going, I'm sure, if you're a halfway decent comedian at that point. But with the room only full of 30 people, you could be a big time comedian. You're just not gonna build the energy the same way.
It's true. I don't know. I think when we do it, we should arbitrarily pick a date.
Yeah, I guess.
Put a little bit of pressure. Not next week.
No, I haven't written anything.
But say in June or something, pick a date. That way you can tell people.
Come check me out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could probably get enough people to go, maybe. Bunch of people downtown.
Showtime won't care, and then if you end up bringing an extra 20 people that are on your side, then you're
that helps
in
big
clear.
Time. Oh yeah, although they might be more judgy than other people, but you never know.
And just don't suck.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with sucking too. Actually, that's the funny thing. If the room is full and I bomb it, that's better to me than having like no reaction from a lack of crowd.
That's true.
I don't care about sucking.
So like you said, if the room isn't full, it's harder to get a reaction, and that works both ways. Nobody, not that anybody really sucked, but nobody would have booed any of them off.
No.
Not that you want to be booed, but if you do fail, you might as well fail spectacularly.
Yes, quite so. Get everybody to post about you on the internet. Look at this jackass. Be the talk of the entire town.
Pardon?
Be the talk of the town.
That could end up working out.
Maybe.
Did you hear this comedian? It was so horrible that
he got arrested after the show for the jokes he told.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah.
What were the jokes he told? I can't say it on this radio station. Just horrible. Speaking of comedians, Louis C.K. is performing again, as we've mentioned before.
Yep.
And
I've been watching some of his new stuff too.
Somebody recorded his set.
Okay.
And released it.
And
it's not a finished set, right?
Yeah.
He's practicing.
Okay.
It's funny.
Yeah.
It sounds like Louis C.K.
I think I might have watched
I will
that
100% admit that it is funny. It's not his best.
I've listened to something since then.
Yeah.
It might have been that. I don't really know.
And people were pissed. Non-comedians and even regular comedians were pissed because of what he was saying. Because he made a joke about the Parkland shooting, and it was almost a throwaway joke. Like, it was funny, but it could have really been anything. And his joke was why he has to listen to people. I'm butchering it, but
That's usually what happens when you try to summarize a joke. Where almost every word of it is
the whole
important.
joke was him questioning why he has to listen to survivors of events go to Congress. Like, they're not rule makers. They don't have
No.
And it was funny. And he's like why? You went to a school, they got shot up, and now I have to listen to you? You didn't do anything.
Heard another comedian actually give a similar bit.
It's not
original.
It's not super original, but there was a lot of backlash.
It's a little funny.
Oh, it is funny. And the set itself was funny. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because his agent must have just said, okay, there's going to be backlash. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Don't watch the news.
Wow.
Don't listen to any of it, and just go for it, because you're going to be welcomed at these clubs, and he is.
Lots of people still love him. Lots of people don't really care. We've talked about it before here, but like, what he did pales in comparison to what any other one of these sexual predators that I've heard about in all these other industries has done. Like, there's some ambiguity of if, he did things that people said no to, but at most situations, I can't talk tonight. In general, it just sounds like he whipped out his dick in front of people, and the people were either okay with it or like, oh no, don't do that. And he was like, okay,
Exactly
I
like
won't
that.
do that.
Oh, no.
Pretty much.
No, and there's always that debate about, can somebody come back from something like that? And I think from something like that, of course, if they keep it in their pants, then haven't they come? If you apologize and then you don't do it again,
that's the tricky bit. You can't really apologize because you're done after that. There's really no coming back for the.
But he
most
did
part.
apologize. He acknowledged it.
Yeah.
He's like,
He didn't say like, I'm so sorry that I did this horribly unspeakable thing. It was more like, he said something about himself, like, I'm a very
fucked up.
I'm a fucked up guy, basically. Which is, it's kind of like a half apology, and it's kind of like, well,
we knew.
That seems to justify the behavior a little bit. I don't really care that much.
No. But in terms of everything, his one-off bit about the Parkland shooting is nowhere near his even Saturday Night Live monologue, where he compared eating chocolate bars to being a pedophile. So
I'd like to hear that.
it's a good bit. You should listen to it.
I will.
So you guys were knocking down a wall one night. The
Living
what
room.
will be your living room wall.
Yeah.
And I came over, and Tila said that I looked like death, and I had told you guys about cabbage soup.
Yeah.
And the next day, or one of the few days after, Tila was like, I don't know how you're going to eat more vegetables. You were talking about cabbage soup like you were dying. Like, first off, I don't like cabbage soup. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as cabbage soup goes, it's not, it's acceptable. Cabbage soup will not kill me unless I choke on it, or if I was deathly allergic to cabbage, in which case.
Okay.
Right?
So where's this going?
This is going to... I didn't apologize to Tila, but I acknowledged it, so I will acknowledge it here on camera.
About what?
Not cabbage soup.
Okay.
I love you guys. I love Tila. I like you guys. This is more personal than it should probably be on here, but whatever.
I know
Everybody who listens knows
kind of,
this existed.
Yes, and she kind of talked to me about what this was, I think.
Yeah. I am in a weird state of trying to figure stuff out. And as I'm figuring stuff out, I'm getting afraid that I'm getting left behind. So I'm happy for you. I'm very happy for you that you're looking at a second house.
Yeah, just keep buying them.
Yes, I know. And the more you buy, I'll still be happy.
people want to take your money, you can go do that.
Oh, I know.
There's lots of options available. I don't know what Justin's doing, but if he was out of the picture, subleasing an apartment probably wouldn't be that hard to do if you had to up and
Not
leave.
allowed to.
Well, there's not a lot of things you're not really allowed to do, but
I know that. But contract-wise
Yeah.
or lease-wise, not allowed to do that.
well, maybe there's a way that you could persuade them to break your contract.
Oh.
I don't know.
There would be.
There's lots of things that can be done. You never need to feel necessarily stuck in that way.
Well, I'm not going to do anything until I know what's going to happen with this film stuff. I'm
It's a good idea.
glad.
It's good to have money coming in.
Yes. Even if it's just a minimal amount with DH Media, but that really hasn't worked out amazingly.
New.
Sporadic.
Limited reserve of money
Yes.
in that way.
So. Yeah, that's it. Just a little bit of
So you want to
personal-
buy a house? Moral
Well,
of the story.
eventually. It's amazing what 2 or 3 years can do with not necessarily an ego.
Well,
Because a house off the table, I thought,
you'd be further along than you are.
I thought things were good. At
A
one
lot of people
point-
say that. I don't know. The first time that ever happened to me, like not me saying it, but somebody else, I was 17 years old. Or no, I was probably 16. But anyway, somebody had turned 17 and we were in high school. And like this kid just said, he's like, shit, I'm 17. Like, I thought I would have done more. And it's this thing that humans commonly do. It doesn't matter what age you are. And it's a good motivating factor. If you're going to do something about it, any time is a good time to realize, hey, there's something I feel like I'm missing. Is it going to be a ready to move in house, or is it going to be something fixer upper?
I'm not.
You should know that ahead of time.
Well, yes, I know that.
Hmm.
And I know that I'm not tearing down walls. Maybe.
Why not, though? You don't need to do it yourself necessarily. You know enough people that you could get shit
That are
done.
busy with their own houses. That work stupid hours. And then
Yeah.
when they're not working, they want to spend.
Here's a mentality that I have, and I feel like a lot of professionals and contractors and all sorts have the same. I'm building myself a garage door. I've probably mentioned it before.
Yes.
It's going to take me like probably 2 months to have the thing where I want it and maybe even paint it or whatever. My neighbor wants one done exactly like mine. His is going to take a weekend. Just because there's a big difference between work on somebody else's time and schedule and stuff like that and something that's passive.
Oh, I know.
And there's a lot of things too, at least in my regard, for like I have a lot of stuff that I've purposely put on my table. I've bought parts for things and got things for so many different projects at the same time that it means that I'm going slow at all of them, which I think I've decided recently that I'm going to tone down and finish a lot of the things first.
You need to work on your truck.
Yeah, that's what I got to do. I got to have time to work on the truck. But yeah, that's really just the right mentality. And I think the funny thing about getting another house is that for me, at least, I can time it out where I bet the one that I'm working on right now, Tila and I said, if she takes like a week off because she gets vacation and like we do it timed out, we could have that thing like ready to somebody move in like 4 weeks. No problem. Easy. Less than that, probably. It's just a matter of just doing it. And then at that point, we have nothing on our table really anymore. There's not much to worry about in that way.
But if you buy another house that needs
Do
to
it
be
again.
gutted,
Yeah.
then you have everything on
It's
the
not
table.
urgently.
You say that.
It's about a sense of time. Nothing. The house stuff that we're doing right now isn't urgent. We could draw it out for another couple months if we have nothing better to do, which is easy because then you do more of the life stuff that makes you happy, and you can do other stuff. But something about being driven to hit a deadline is nice too. Yeah. So just about anything's possible. And what's so intimidating about taking down walls, anyways?
Okay, the wall thing was it's not, watching you guys, it's not that intimidating.
No.
Watching my sister-in-law gut her house, that's intimidating.
There's no. Well, it's the same thing as tearing down walls, kind of. It's just
Except it was everything all at once.
yeah. But the nice thing about that you can do that's here's the difference. With that, you rent a bin, you throw it outside, and you fill up the bin. You fill it up with all the debris and whatever. That's a easy thing to do compared to what I've been doing is filling up the back of my truck and dumping it in a place that I'm okay to dump it over and over and over again, and just like this slow thing, and trying to pick up materials. Like I want to save money, so I'm salvaging some like copper and brass and certain things like that. It's a lot to think about. If you just got a house and you're not worried about any of that stuff, you could gut a house in no time. Gutting a house isn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah, but then getting it back, see, that's...
It's so much easier from that state, though, once everything's ripped out.
Sure, but it still took them 8 months to have a fucking kitchen.
I think they could have done it faster. I don't know what necessarily what's going on in their lives, but...
Kids, full-time jobs.
Exactly.
Right?
Kids probably the biggest detractor in that. Full-time job, you still got plenty of hours in the day to make a kitchen work.
Which you should be spending with the kids.
Kids are what get in the way, and that's not a problem that you or I have.
No.
So it's their saving grace, and it means that you could gut a house and have a kitchen up and running in a week or two, if you can handle that. Which really, it's not that bad. It's good to starve yourself for certain things a little bit sometimes.
I'd like to learn.
Makes you appreciate stuff. Gutting would have made so many of the jobs that we're doing easier if we just started from nothing, because having to deal with a weird plumbing situation to start with, like whatever state they left it in, is a pain in the ass. And if you go back and you rip literally everything out,
trying to fix people's mistakes.
Yes. If you're not trying to do that, oh man, that's a whole different game. Tila thinks I'm a bit prissy in one regard. When I'm doing stuff, I need the perfect starting conditions and space to work in certain things, like to cut stuff and whatever. So I spend a lot more time cleaning ahead of time. When I'm building houses at work, there's none of that. I have room to cut literally anything I want. I can shoot things together. There's no dirt. It's clean in an efficient way. I don't like fixing other people's shit that much. There's no room for me to operate a saw and have my sawhorses and cut whatever I need to do and do this stuff in a house where all my shit is currently situated. If I didn't live in the thing and I was gutting it, that'd be a dream. That'd be so easy. And then building it back up, nice clean new sheets of drywall and everything. It's nice. It doesn't take that long too. Lots of supply runs. That's probably the biggest attractor that I haven't felt yet, is if you're drywalling an entire house all at the same time, that's a lot of trips. At least with my truck.
Any truck.
Truck is kind of a must-have if you're going to be renovating, but that's not really a problem if you have somebody that can help you with stuff that does have a truck.
I drywall the ceiling. That's the only thing that I've done handy.
Drywalling a ceiling's harder than drywalling a wall.
It wasn't amazing.
No.
But it looks really good now.
Does it?
It's my parents' house. I didn't do it by myself. But
was it like a full-size sheet, like a 4x8 sheet?
Yeah.
Heavy.
Multiple. It was heavy, but we had one of those lifts.
Oh. I've actually never drywalled anything finished in the house. I've drywalled like trusses and shit for fireproofing measures, which I can imagine is probably harder than actually drywalling, but I don't know. I've never mudded anything, so I don't really have much of a reference for that kind of stuff. But looking at drywallers, don't seem like the brightest bulbs. So
do they make good money?
I don't think so. I think there's a hard ceiling for how much they can make, and it probably is more than I make currently, but I think my ceiling's a little bit higher, even doing what I'm doing. So they don't look like
okay, so then
they enjoy themselves.
I like talking through this. Yeah, I've learned over the years that actually talking through things help. I'm not worried about falling behind. I'm just confused right now because I don't know what's going to happen. I feel stupid that I left Beatty's, but also at the same time, it wasn't what I wanted to do forever, so there was no reason to put it off. However, I put it off too soon because I didn't realize that the entire Toronto film industry basically stops for the month of January.
It would have been nice to have more coaching on that and know for a fact what could happen.
It's not... See, that's the issue. My contact is still working. Mm-hmm. Why? Because he has the ties where he can just work continuously. It doesn't matter. Because I don't have those ties, I can't. So I can't jump from union to union, which is fine. so that's why I'm trying to better myself in other ways, trying to run the DH Media stuff. But right now it just feels kind of not necessarily directionless, but there is no direction. So I guess it is directionless.
Yes.
Direction on my own accord. What am I trying to accomplish today? Lots of great designs have come out of it. I'm very happy with the brochure design. I'm working on Mugs and Meeple's menu, so there's positive and money coming through eventually, hopefully. But in the meantime, I'm also just trying to figure out what I'm going to do if it all goes to shit. I don't think it will. I think the film stuff will pick up. And if it does, then I'm golden.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm
I'm
an overqualified person in some areas and then underqualified in many.
That's the
And I've
diversity
never
of
faced that issue before.
it's kind of everybody's issue, really, if you're under like 50 years old. That's the thing. I think I am not going to know shit about the world until I'm at least like 40, 50 years old.
Well, of course.
You need to just accrue so much knowledge about so many different things to be of use to anybody else if you're trying to be an employee, and even more if you're a business owner, that, yeah, it takes a lot of time. A lot of stuff in the construction world, I'm just sort of doing myself and learning as I go, but I want to be able to do all of it for somebody else professionally as a contractor and have all those things lined up. But that's so far away because there's so much that goes into it. It's fun getting there, though.
I'm not. It's been fun. I've had the past 3 weeks have been my stress for the most part has melted away, even though that it really shouldn't. It's weird. As I said, trying to eat better, just trying to get everything else on track. I'm not starting at ground zero, but I'm just trying to see what can be done. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, because I'm not really accomplishing all that much, not what I want to be, see, because I can say, oh, this wasn't what I expected, but for me to think, I can only change so many things. I could be working. I could go right now and say, I will give everybody who comments on this Facebook post a free photo shoot. And I could be busy, but that's not accomplishing anything.
Yes, you're not really
right?
making money or really even increasing the brand's value.
Right. So
much.
I just have to find the right way. And then it's also just kind of weird seeing that something that's in year number 5 this year that you thought maybe could stand on its own 2 legs, and it's not.
There's a lot more we could have pushed harder along the way. I think the seasonal aspect of the work that we've done before, the weddings and everything, kind of kills the flow of things. Wedding season's great. It feels like you're productive. You're out working. You're getting money made, and you're sharpening your skills. But the lull until next summer when weddings pick up it's a long one. You need to be able to diversify the business enough to last all year round, which is a huge step.
Well, let's see how the business stuff goes, because that's where I have my eyes set.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of small businesses in Niagara that need help.
I think on that short-term existential line of thought, it's
a good idea.
Come to the end of the show.
This would have been a lot longer had you not pressed record.
Maybe the audio's passable. We'll see.
I'll just give it to you.
There was a good energy at the show, and you'll see it just cuts off, and I just die right when I'm like, fuck this audio situation.
Yes. It was fun. It was interesting. Hopefully your truck is okay.
Yeah, it won't be on a permanent base. Like, it'll die one day, so it might be now.
We all will.
Exactly.
That was existential. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a great night.
Listen to us on iTunes or Spotify.
Or the good old-fashioned Facebook. What are you